Look at this, chat. I love waking up and seeing the journalist yet again communing with the science. Research shows, paper claims, a university professor from London says. Apparently, sex, not gender, is a predictor of sports performance. See, thanks to the scientists that gorge themselves on your taxpayer body, we now have a deeper understanding of humanity than we did yesterday. Like, we now know stuff that people from 1,000 years ago had absolutely no idea. Like, when the Greeks invented the Olympics, they did not have access to this forbidden knowledge, this arcane mysticism that we now know is true. Right? So sex, not gender, according to scientists, not one, not two, but three of them, is able to predict performance during sports. I wish my grandmother was alive to be able to read this. I mean, such level of insight, such deep wisdom and understanding can only come from the bowels of London. I mean, London is now the city of light. It is the way forward for humanity. You know, people from China, from India, from Azerbaijan, they should look to London with awe and admiration. I wonder if, see, when they said diversity is their strength, they were absolutely correct. I mean, you need to form the diversity which creates the ritual that summons the university, and the university starts to shake, right? And it creates the arcanic mystical powers which furthers our knowledge. And then the journalists, they try to commune with the science. And the journalist translates from the enlightened mind of the academia, which are people far smarter than you and I mean, we can never understand them. But the journalists are the link. They're the missing link. And they understand the academics, and then they can translate it for us, the peasantry. So as you can see here, it wasn't one, it wasn't two, it was three individuals that have pioneered this groundbreaking research. You have Dr. John Armstrong, Dr. Alice Sullivan, and George M. Perry, which is an independent researcher from the USA. I mean, this was like a joint collaboration, a united force in order to peer the veil of the unknown and tell us that sex, not gender, is an indicator for performance in sports. Well, actually, it says that it is a better predicator, right? So up until now, we use the gender, which is an outdated mechanism, I understand, of prediction. It's a tool that can be used, but it's not as good. Like, this one is more polished. Man, if only the ancient Greeks knew when they created the Olympics. Do you think they had access to this? Maybe they did, you know, like maybe they knew, but the knowledge was lost due to the passage of time, and now it was rediscovered with the help of the United Kingdom and London. You should be proud. You should be proud that your taxpayer money has gone to funding this. Like, without this, we would have never known. Without this, we would have walked around like blind people in the dark. Like that, if you're blind and in the dark, it's worse, right? Outside of purely biological outcomes and criminology, the journalist claims, little empirical work has been done to test the theory. See, it's a theory that gender identity is more important than biological sex as a cause of gender disparities outcomes. I love the way they have to frame this, okay? Because the people at the university, they don't produce wealth. The wealth usually comes from the government in the form of grants. But the government has like political agendas. So what ends up happening is that you need to frame it in a way that the government would approve it. Because if you guys recall, a couple of years ago, there was the Bath Spa University that wanted to do some research into people who regret transitioning. And they were told, like, no, that is not politically correct. Like, this is mad science. It's kind of like, you know, just because we can doesn't mean we should. It's like you're trying to create the Frankenstein monster. I mean, sure, just because you can, ethics dictate that you shouldn't. Because what if you find something that's wrong? You know, it's like peering into the abyss. and sometimes the abyss peers back at you. So this is why, like, when doing this type of very delicate research, it's kind of like working with nuclear physics. You know, like when they invented the atomic bomb, they thought that they could burn the atmosphere. It's like, it's very delicate science, very dangerous. So when you're dealing with this type of thing, like gender, it's very dangerous for our society, for our democracy, for the pillars of our community. So you have to frame it in a way that is palatable, that is in agreement with something stronger than science. I know it's stronger than science, the government, so that they can afford you the grants. So apparently they did a couple of races. They gathered data from 166 races achieved by non-binary athletes. So we have the non-binary athletes to thank for allowing their data to be gathered by the researchers. And it was compared with 85,173 races. And apparently they found out that it wasn't the gender that predicted performance, it was the sex. Since the rest results do not provide the sex of non-binary athletes, the sex of non-binary athletes was either divided from previous races that they had run, or where this wasn't available. The researchers used a novel technique to model the sex of athletes based on probability by giving their names. Holy shit, like, did you see, like, how far and advanced the academic tools people have at London University? Like, they use the names of non-binary athletes to try and assess the sex. But see, we can't do this research in Romania. We just lack the tools. Like we lack, well, first of all, the scientists. I mean, you have to be such a brilliant mind in order to conduct such a study. But secondly, the tools required to do these things, it's wow. I mean, I'm astonished. I'm astonished that the journalists even understand what was being done so that they can relay it to us. So they use probability based on their given names to assess their sex. Race types were used as an outcome of a variable in the linear models with explanatory variables derived from biological sex, gender identity, age, and even, oh my god, like, this is dark science now. They even use the race of the people when gathering data from, well, actually the race, right? But the different type of, like the skin color, right? This is dark science. This is bordering on heresy. But if it has government approval, then it can go forward. Dr. John Armstrong, reader in financial mathematics and King, said gender identity is clearly important to many people, but nevertheless sex matters. So after what I assume is tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, humanity can move forward with deeper understanding, right? Like our knowledge of the universe has expanded, and we now know this to be true, that gender identity is clearly important to many people, but nevertheless sex matters according to Dr. John Armstrong. Wow, I hope they make a statue of him. Like, I hope when you go to London University, you see a statue of this man, which has managed to help us understand much more about the human condition. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.